Hi, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about um, the problem of self reference. Um, Self reference, you know, has blown holes in logical systems since the Greeks. Epimenides, a Cretan, had the famous liar's paradox. He said all Cretans are liars. Of course, he was a Cretan, so if he was lying, then he's telling the truth. And if he's telling the truth, then he's lying. And you see how these feedback loops are just very unstable. There are other instabilities. You don't have to just do a liar's paradox where you have the simple logical problem of self-reference. One of the more interesting problems of self-reference is mathematics. Um, in the 19th century, Cantor did a lot of stuff with infinity, um, and mathematicians tried to put some rigor into it. And Russell came up with the Russell paradox. Basically, sets that talk about themselves. Sets that aren't members of themselves can then be are the set of all sets that are not members of themselves is a problem. It's the same as the paradox of the barber. Anyone who does not shave themselves, the barber in this village shaves everyone who does not shave themselves. Well, who shaves the barber? If the barber shaves himself, then he can't shave himself, and the barber doesn't shave himself, then he has to shave himself. So these self-references paradoxes come up all the time. Lately, they've come up in cosmology, physics, and psychology. Well, not lately. Psychology's been around for a while, but um, you know, there's this idea of Boltzmann brains that in the far future, when the universe has gone into the heat death and there's nothing around, um, brains, because of quantum effects, particles pop in and out of the vacuum. Because of quantum effects, larger objects, although very rarely, will pop out of the vacuum, including cars, pizzas, worlds, galaxies, and occasionally a human brain that thinks it's living in the early part of the universe where we live, 13 billion years after the Big Bang. Now, this is over eons and eons, like epic amounts of time, but this could happen. And these are called Boltzmann brains. And the problem with the Boltzmann brain is if our current theories of cosmology persist, then Boltzmann brains will far outnumber the normal brains that evolved on planets that formed shortly after the Big Bang. And that's a problem because that's cognitively unstable. It's it's a conclusion which you can't hold, because if you hold that conclusion, then all the premises and all the evidence that you had before to lead up to that conclusion is totally invalid. So you can't have that. It's the same thing as if you say you have hypoxia. Well, if there's no oxygen getting to your brain, how do you know it? Because your brain would not be operating properly, so you wouldn't know it. Or so if you know you have hypoxia, you probably don't. Or if you're schizophrenic, and this one hits home with me. I mean, well, Boltzmann brain hits home with me too, because I love cosmology. But if you're schizophrenic, then your senses are lying to you quite often because you hallucinate. And if you can't trust your senses or what you see or what you think, then how can you trust any of your biography or any of that? And if you can't trust in your biography, how do you know you're schizophrenic? So it's like these self-referential paradoxes, these Gödelian or liar's paradoxes crop up all over the place, even in ordinary life. For at least for some mentally ill people, they crop up in life. So I just thought that was interesting. That self-reference can sow such paradoxes and such problems with ordinary Homo sapiens like you and me. Anyway, you have a good day. Peace out. I'll talk to you later.